Welcome home, Raiders! This week, patch 6.2.2 is coming September 1st. Or is it? We'll take a look at the upcoming changes and more in the Battlenet news. This is Convert to Raid number 192.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
Podcast Power Station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is August 25th, 2015, and it is now 9:22 in the PM. I'm starting to get used to this Tuesday night broadcast thing. I'm kind of digging it. I'm liking having my weekends back. Yeah, it's kind of unusual. It's been 4 years since I've had a weekend to myself. And away from this monkey in California, let's go to Derry's.
I know what you mean. The last couple weekends I've woken up on a Sunday and just been like, I should be doing something right now.
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, and then I go back to sleep and quickly forget about it.
All right. Well, let's go to our special guest this week from the Asparagus Initiative, one of our teammates over there, and more recently in the team that was taking everybody surprised in the Frog Pants tourney. For Heroes of the Storm, Adults with Jobs, it's Sharku! Hey, man!
Hey, guys, 3 years ago today, that's not true, but 3 years ago I started watching this show, and I fell in love with it. It was a dream come true to be able to be on with you guys. I'm really excited about hanging out and talking some Blizzard games.
Well, yeah. You need something different in your life, and we apologize for all those years of CTR. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. We have to apologize. I think it's in our contracts.
Wait, I thought we just we said all this and that was it. I didn't know we recorded this.
Yeah,
we're not just having a.
There's a couple things I probably shouldn't have said.
Darius, there's something I've been meaning to tell you about how podcasting works. Yes.
Well, that's why we had a chat room.
Well, welcome, fellas, and welcome, Shark, and we'll find out a little bit more about you, because I do want to actually talk about this weekend quite a bit. I was in awe by how Adults with Jobs did in the Frog Pants tourney. And for those guys that don't know exactly what the Frog Pants tourney is or whatever, Scott Johnson from The Instance, he put together a tournament, a Heroes of the Storm tournament, using with his team of casters and stuff like that, the Frog Pants network over there. And so it was Heroes of the Pants tournament, right? And when did this start, Shark?
We started practicing for it back at the beginning of the summer, and then I want to say it was June that we started the group, or not the group stage, but the group stage, where we would get together, and there were 4 different groups, and we would play on team from each group, and the top 4 teams in each group would go on to the playoffs. But that lasted about a month, and overall the whole thing lasted about 6 weeks. Ish. Yeah.
And Adults with Jobs actually smashed the competition pretty hugely. Did you go through undefeated, or did you have one game loss? Or
we did not. We had a loss. It's kind of funny. We had a loss during our I think it was round of 4 against the Coldplays. Really, really talented team. One of the teams we were worried about in the competition, and we played them in the semifinals. And I was so nervous to play them, and it was just such a tight game. We get to the part where we pick our heroic abilities, and I clicked the wrong one. Nice. And we ended up losing that game. And but yeah, we went. That was a best of 3, and we went. We lost 1, so it was 2-1.
Gotcha. So you actually did lose a game at one point, and it was because of you.
Yeah.
Not
We
saying
sharked it
that's
up.
why we lost the game. There was also a really stupid boss attempt at that point. I'm going to blame Juby for that one.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, Juby used to raid with us as well, and he was the team leader of Adults with Jobs. But yeah,
Right.
we still pick on him about that too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because Adults with Jobs actually has Juby and Nats, or I'm sorry, Retrofunk is his name on the tourney,
Right.
and Nats, his fiance, and his brother. And then Randy, who we know from the Asparagus Initiative as well, and you from the Asparagus Initiative. So, I mean, it was just this Asparagus fiesta or something.
Yeah, we would get together after raids sometimes and just play heroes, and we really got into it. And then we ended up, Retro said, hey, let's really do something to get, let's get something organized and get something together and to try to compete. And we were looking for tournaments to play in, and this is the first one that came down the pike, and we played. We had a lot of fun.
Yep, and you smash face. And I'm actually working with Retrofunk behind the scenes here at CTR, and we'll discuss that more as we get closer to making further announcements. But yes, there's something else going on that we'll talk about soon. And now for the tournament, you were basically playing JoJo, right? You were playing Johanna.
I played a lot of Joho. Early on, I played a lot of Anubarak because he was just overpowered.
And then they
he was
nerfed him.
so good. And they nerfed his beetle build a little bit, so he wasn't unkillable anymore.
Right.
But yeah, it was. I played a lot of him, and then a lot of Moradin actually during the group phase, because the stuns that Moradin is able to offer is just unrivaled. He can come and his entire ult is just turning all of his auto attacks into stuns. And
right.
becoming storm form, and he's really, really hard to kill, especially if you have a good healer and you're positioning yourself well. But yeah, during the playoffs, I played a lot of Johanna because she's also just incredibly strong, and her ultimate ability is a really, really powerful stun as well.
Right.
And that's kind of the key, at least for our strategy, has always been single somebody out, stun them, kill them. Now you're on a power play.
Right. And I do want to assure our listeners that we will be talking a lot about WoW this show, because a lot of stuff actually was happening. But I do want to talk
about rating.
But I do want to talk about this because it was really cool and it was really fun. And I was watching. So this last weekend was the big grand tournament, and Darius, I don't know if you caught this or not.
I did. Yeah.
It was amazing gameplay. I don't know. Were you? I set it up so that I could watch it on my TV downstairs, and my wife was telling me to be quiet, and she was like, "Please be quiet. You're making the dog get all weird and stuff." And I was yelling at the TV a lot and stuff like that. Darius, were you doing any of that as well?
No, I'm not a weirdo, so
that has yet to be determined, I think.
I did watch, but I wasn't yelling at her or anything. I mean, there were a few times where I face palmed when I watched Shark, die or do something like that.
There's always that.
I had like once the whole time, but that's cool.
I was wearing my Go Randy t-shirt at the time though, and I had a flag and everything, but no, I wasn't yelling at my monitor.
Right. Well, the first game was such a nail biter, and you guys came back right at the end. I mean, it's just kind of amazing the gameplay that can be had in that game, because you were down like the majority of the game. You started off okay, and then like the early game kind of fell apart. You got behind by quite a bit. You clawed your way back up and went in for like this last minute team kill, which made you just be able to go ham on the core, as they say. I'm told.
Yeah. Going ham on the core.
So it was really cool, and then from there you just dominated, and it was great. It was so amazing to watch you guys, and knowing that it's my friends, it's like, oh, that's so nice, you know.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun in the tournament. It just goes to show, and if you watch the VOD, Scott Johnson even talks about this a little bit in the YouTube video. Here's the Storm is just one of those games, unlike other MOBAs, where it can snowball completely out of control. Heroes really has some cool balance mechanics in to where no team is really ever out. there can be a team that has momentum and has momentum going along them, and mistakes and their mistakes are theirs to be made. However, any team that is being patient and being ready for team fights and just playing well can always come back for a win. And our team was lucky enough to be able to be an example of that during that first game. It was so much fun. It was. The yelling and use of profanity.
I heard from Retrofunk that in the middle of that first game, it was kind of like after wiping 100 times to Siege. What's his name? Siege Master. What's his name?
Siege Master back in the
yeah. Where after like the 75th time, you just like somebody explodes and then you could hear a pin drop. It's just like silence for a while.
We were arguing about something. He yelled, "Shut up!" and it was over at that point. Like nobody said a word. He yelled, "Shut up!" and started barking commands again. And we were able to rally and take advantage of some moments. And it was just so much fun.
Well, congratulations to adults with jobs. Now. Let's talk about WoW, and I'm trying to get people's opinions about the new expansion that was announced a few weeks ago, Legion, and I just want to know what your overall thoughts are about how it was presented, and if you're excited about it, and what you're looking forward to for Legion. I started playing a lot back during BC, so Illidan coming back is something that I'm really excited about, and I'm kind of in the camp. I don't know exactly what capacity he's coming back in, but I really want him to be a good guy. I love that idea of having this anti-hero type character, someone that is always trying his hardest to do the right thing, but can't ever get it right. So it's something I really, really am excited about. And I don't know, another expansion for Warcraft, more raids, more stuff to do, more ways to play with your friends. I'm really, really excited about it. Demon Hunters look awesome. I'm definitely I'm main DK here and there. Right.
So I'm really excited about getting another melee/tank class to play with. It could be really fun.
To suck at. So we can blame you about other stuff in the future. Is that it? Hey, it's my first time. It's my first time on this class. Come on. You just want the excuse of hey, nobody knows how to play this class. Come on.
That's true. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll just come in as a Demon Hunter. What's going to happen is Demon Hunter is going to be like my idiot savant class.
I don't know about that.
There, and I just all of a sudden just own everybody, and it's just like somehow it's my magic. Like we had that thing with Orgron with my Frost Mage. Something happened. I was like, I'm doing the best. And that's how I play too. My hands are.
Oh, that's funny.
I have to ask, Shark, when did you change your name from Sharku to Shakru?
Right, I know. That was a typo on my part. I'm sorry, but you are now Shakru.
Can we keep it?
Shakru.
You are now
and
Shakru.
You didn't even use the right umlaut.
Well,
it's not an accent, it's an umlaut.
I can't be responsible for typing.
Alt code 150.
I shouldn't be, but apparently I am. I'm on a Mac. What do I know?
That's true.
So with that, hey, by the way, I don't know if you heard this news. I believe you did because you like the internet, and that is that for BlizzCon this year, Will Wheaton was approached, and now he will be the new host for this year's BlizzCon, and so congratulations, Will Wheaton. Some people like Will, some people not so much. But Chris Hardwick was last year, and Will Wheaton was his roommate in college. So I think that there may be, go to their next roommate in college. I don't know if they had one.
They're just gonna go through that entire group of friends.
Yeah, all of their friends. It'll be fun. It'll be good. I don't know. Do you like Will Wheaton, or yay or nay, guys?
Sure. I like him. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why people don't like him. But I know that people do.
They don't like him because of Stand By Me. They were very intimidated when he was holding the gun on the dude, and no, that's probably not it.
What?
They hated him from Star Trek. That's mainly it, right?
He's just like 9 in Star Trek.
Yeah.
How can you hate him?
Yeah, that was a bad character.
I really
That's not his fault.
No, it wasn't. Shark?
Yeah, I'm excited for him to be a part of BlizzCon. I love, and as you look at all of it, like some of the stuff he does with tabletop and his oh my gosh, appearances on the internet and just appearances at different cons. And I know, especially there was a video floating around where he's talking about bullying and things like that. He's a really positive voice, I think, for the gamer community and for the nerd community or whatever. I'm really excited to have him a part of BlizzCon. Meet him.
He's been the keynote speaker and had a big presence at PAX actually over the last couple of years. So I've gotten used to seeing him around and hearing him talk and stuff. So I think he'll do a pretty good job. He usually does a pretty good job at PAX.
And he's been one of those guys that has been a heavy part of nerd culture, and he's about my age, and so it's, he seems like one of my buds to me.
I didn't know he was in his 50s.
No, I was born in the 50s, Darius. I was born in the 50s. Oh, no, I wasn't.
So I didn't realize you were that old.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Right. And with that, we move on into the rating news. But before we do, here's Cragmar.
Deep Thoughts with
Cragmar. Consider the peace bloom. While you're doing that, I'll be over here sharpening my axe and laughing maniacally.
This has been Deep Thoughts with Cragmar.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
Consider the peace bloom. Please do.
Still over here considering it.
Right.
I feel like I've met some sort of transcendence.
He's behind you with his axe.
I'm just going to skip over that one altogether.
All right. Well, it's been a fairly quiet week in WoW. I mean, game wise and stuff like that. I mean, we definitely have some stuff to talk about. First up, we do have a new interview with Tom Chilton and Ian Hazakostas at MMOgames.com. And I don't think there was any real jaw-dropping information that was dropped in this particular interview, although it was confirmed, although we kind of confirmed that a couple of weeks ago, that internal alpha is going on now because Darius is playing it. Not really.
Yeah. How's that going, Darius?
I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore.
But the Demon Hunter is really fun. Also, another thing was that BlizzCon, speaking of before, we should have our first playable tour of the world. So, guys, I guess the question is beta? Shark, what do you think about beta, and when do you think beta might come?
I really hope that beta comes sometime. I feel like they could release it after BlizzCon. I feel like it's something that they could announce. It's always one of those things that, of course, this is all pipe dreamy. I think for me, it's like I want it to come. I want to go to BlizzCon and I want to be there, and they're going to say, and by the way, beta is going to be released the day after we close, and everyone here gets in, and we're also releasing the beta for Overwatch, and everyone here gets in, and just and just freak out about it. And everybody's no,
I don't think and that's only through my own experience where I've done that, like the last 3 BlizzCons where I'm like going, they're gonna say that this is ready tomorrow.
Yeah, they're gonna release it. Screw beta, they're opening it. It's happening tomorrow.
Experience has told me otherwise. Experience tells me that they will say no, and beta will be coming soon. TM, and then nothing for a while. That's what it goes. Darius, how about you? When do you think that we might be seeing beta? And what might be at BlizzCon too? I mean, that too.
I'm pretty sure Shark was right on. They're gonna say beta comes out tomorrow. everyone that's here gets in the beta.
And now that I've said it won't happen, it will happen. Just so that I can be wrong.
I mean, he said the exact quote was the first playable tour of the world. So I'm assuming the first wing of LFR will open at BlizzCon.
First wing.
The tourist mode, you know.
Right.
So
right.
The tour of the world, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
They're just going to build an add-on to Disneyland, which is right there next to the convention center, and it'll be like they'll just take over the It's a Small World,
right?
And It's a Small
And then they're gonna make everybody hate the next expansion just by running them through that ride. You want your first tour? You got to listen to It's a Small World for the next hour and a half.
After all, it's a small world, Warcraft after all.
I like that. That's funny.
I like the last quote he had too, where he said Legion could launch before or after the Warcraft movie.
Right.
Thanks. That's super helpful.
I mean, basically what they're saying is that the next expansion doesn't have any relationship with the movie. The movie doesn't have any relationship with the next expansion release. They are not related whatsoever. Although they probably will end up somewhere near each other, but who's to say how close? I think they're just it
could be before or after.
They're managing expectations, and I think we might talk about this later in the show too. Who knows?
I think that's the worst way to manage expectations.
Well,
it will launch before or after, or maybe during this or next year.
But it's saying maybe. we're not planning to launch it with the movie.
I don't know, I feel like everyone knew that, though.
They confirmed it.
Yeah.
The opening cinematic is going to be the Warcraft movie.
Oh, that's it.
Okay. There we go.
Orgrim Doomhammer come down and yep.
That's what
back in time again.
Gotta go back in time. Oh wait, I do have that.
You got it. You got it.
Back in time.
There we go. So not a lot of new stuff, but it's still kind of an interesting read. You can go over to MMOgames.com and go check it out over there. And then the next news for World of Warcrafts is about the next patch, 6.2.2, which introduces flying.
And that,
well, I'm not so sure
that could launch before or after September 1st.
Right. Right, and we'll get to we may talk about that, and it may be September 1st is kind of a soft date, as we found out. Darius, let's just talk about the patch first.
So the patch is going to have mercenary mode for PvP,
yep,
for Ashran and things like that.
Yep.
It's going to have new time walking rewards and loot changes, so you'll get a badge. So we're going back to badges. When you complete a time walking dungeon, you can use that to get toys and mounts and gear and things like that. And then they're doing weekly quests for players to catch up. They're adding weekly quests for players to catch up to earlier stage of the legendary ring. So this is just a catch up mechanic, so you don't have to constantly run High Mall and Blackrock Foundry over and over and over again.
Right. Right.
And then there's a new mount. Mount.
The moose mount. We finally get our moose, and for that, or meese, and for that, I will give a big applause for that. I know a lot of people really wanted the moose mount. Ghostcrawler promised back in BC or whenever, and now it looks like we're finally getting it. So that's pretty cool. It may not necessarily be in the store right as 6.2.2 launches, but it will be updated with the rest of the files, so it may be available later after that. So
it's a cool mount too. I can't wait to spend $60 on it.
It won't be that. If only they did it like in Heroes of the Storm, where you could do it for gold or for cash,
nice.
Right? So you could do it for gold or for cash. Do that in WoW. That would be great as well. Probably not, it will never happen. Not for mounts. Mm-hmm. I can't see it happen. I'm
pretty excited. Being the resident PvP expert, I'm excited for the mercenary mode.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. I mean, get to switch sides if you don't want a long queue. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it.
Could we get mercenary mode for LFR though? Like, if I don't want a long queue in LFR as a DPS, can I just play as an NPC?
As an NPC?
Yeah, can I just play as trash? Maybe
Either just as trash or be the boss.
Or
A whole different game there.
hey, maybe there's a mercenary mode that can be had for LFR, especially for raiding or something like that, where hey, let's just combine everybody together and just go kill bosses. And I'm sure that DPS players would be very happy about that.
Well, and honestly, I think that if they're going to introduce it into PvP, it's something that I've had a problem with in the past. Being I used to raid Horde, and now I joined CTR, and now I have to switch to raid Alliance to be with my friends. Even though, honestly, guys, secrets out of the bag, I prefer Horde.
What?
Lore-wise, I really enjoy.
friends.
Oh well, yeah, that's might be true too. But but it's one of those things where I would love, especially for something like LFR or normal mode or something like that, to be able to play mercenary mode and play with my Horde friends. I mean, and the lore in Warcraft, at least for PvE, backs it up a lot better than PvP. It's strange to me having Alliance fight on Horde side or Horde on Alliance side from a lore perspective in PvP. But PvE, we do it all the time. How many times have Alliance come in and save Thrall's butt? Like doing different things. So I don't know. I think that's a good idea, honestly. Something that,
Well,
for the more casual style of raids, is something that I think the game could really
sure.
enjoy.
And if it worked like the PvP stuff, when you go into mercenary mode, you're not fighting as your race that you chose
Correct.
initially. You're fighting as a race that is chosen for you when you do the mercenary mode. So, and I'm guessing, and I would hope that they would do something like this for PvE. I think that would be kind of cool, especially in casual mode or tourist mode or whatever the heck you want to call it, or whatever the heck anybody wants to call it. I think it would be fun to have that as an option and see what it does for queue times for that. But I'm guessing that PvP is the logical first step for something like that. So I don't know. It's kind of cool. One of the other things that's coming up in patch 6.2.2 that I thought was cool or interesting. I'm not so sure that it's cool now that 6.2's been out for a while. But those baleful things, the rings, trinkets, cloaks. Now, if you are a tank, you'll always get bonus armor on those items, on the rings, trinkets, and cloaks. And if you're a healing spec, you'll get spirit on those things. So
Nice.
Thank you for finally doing that, Blizz, because that was, good thing I was gearing for my DPS instead of my healing stuff. But yeah, I can only imagine that some people were kind of disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, the all of that gear is for catch up. It's for getting you to a point where you can start to raid or do LFRs or whatever.
Right.
And as a tank, the bonus armor is always going to help, and as a spirit, it's always going to help. But as a healer, spirit is always going to help. So
Yep.
this is kind of a no brainer, but a good change.
Yes. And did you see the class changes coming for 6.2.2? They are again, I don't know. Okay, so they have a bunch of class changes. Essentially, druids, feral druids are getting buffed. Monks are getting some buffage. Shadow priests are getting buffed. Warriors getting a little. The protection warriors
Tiny
getting a
buff.
little tiny one. And the questions that I have for you guys: one, do you think these were needed? And two, isn't it a little late in the expansion to be doing these kinds of changes? I don't know. And Darius, maybe I'll start with you, because you're doing the whole Mythic thing. By the way, how's the team? How's Convert to Mythic doing? I didn't even ask. Sorry, we got into the hot stock.
What's today? Saturday?
20 no, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday,
So on Sunday we went in and we killed Archimon again on Heroic. Then we started back in Mythic and we killed both Hellfire Assault and Fell Reaver in Mythic, and
Yay.
almost did Cornrock.
Congratulations.
We had a pretty good night.
So now, from your perspective, as doing the Mythic rating stuff, do you think that these classes needed to be buffed, just in general?
Well,
I know that Shadow Priests have had a rough time this entire expansion, right?
Of the 4, we don't even have 2 of them because they do such low damage.
Yeah.
We don't have a monk or a shadow priest. So it's definitely good for monks. Shadow priests, I haven't seen a shadow priest in a long time. So this will definitely help. I know shadow priests, even in Siege of Orgrimmar, they were not doing so hot. So
right,
they haven't been so great. So this will be good for them. I mean, these are needed. I don't think it's a little too late, considering we're going to be in Hellfire Assault for the next 14 months or so. So
not 14. It's not.
This
14.
will give people a chance to play the classes they want to play and be invited to raids. If if you're a Shadow Priest and that's all you have and that's what you want to play, this now gives you a little bit more,
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like I have this feeling like for those guys that have been playing these classes, especially like Shadow Priest, and Feral Druids. I know that there are still Feral Druids out there and stuff like that. I know that there are Shadow Priests out there and they will appreciate it. But those guys that went, you know what, I'm going to switch my main because right now these specs aren't really doing so well. And now it's like, oh, well, we're fully into Hellfire Citadel. And I have chosen my main and I have geared it up and I'm not switching now. You know, Shark, does that ring true for you or?
Yeah, it's something. Well, I had to take a little bit of a hiatus from raiding anyway this summer because of work. But I can tell you, as far as I've been playing this game since Classic, I don't know if I've told anybody that ever before. But no, it's one of those things that playing this game for almost 10 years, change is a good thing. So when they come out, and they've even said it in patches before, like they were people, it was the Warlocks, they were talking about how they were nerfing, what was it, Demo into the ground or something like that, and people were like, why are you doing that? And I think it was Hazakostas that answered as honest as he could and said, because we don't want you playing that spec.
Right.
Because we want to change it up. We want to make things different. So bringing things, I know monks were really, really high during High Maul. Doing a lot of damage, and they were bringing it back down and moving it around. So I think people, at least for me, I have a few alts that I can switch to and do one thing or the other, and it's a lot. It's more fun for me to be able. I've been playing my mage so much, and you know what, DKs are doing really well. I'm going to switch to my DK, or you know what, Warlocks are doing incredibly well. I'm going to play my Warlock and main him for a little while and switch mains around.
Just don't play Demo. Don't do
not
it.
Demo.
By the way, Demo, no buff, no nothing. Demo still sucks
because I don't want you to play it.
That's right. But you're enjoying any time that you get to switch around and kind of try something new, right?
I think for me, and I think players, especially the high-end players, they're going to play whatever is parsing the best. They're going to play whatever's doing the most damage, whatever's doing, and so they will switch between one or another. They might stay range, but is it going to be a hunter or what spec of hunter or a mage or So, but yeah, it's I think it can be a good thing. And then after that initial charge of the world first and everything, all the top end guilds getting their mythic kills, then to allow everyone else to catch up that don't want to change. That have stayed survival hunter, even though survival wasn't one of the things that got buffed, but allowing them to get kind of back into the mix, I think is a good. I don't think it's too little too late either. Like Derry said, I agree with him.
Well, I do.
Well, let's hear it.
No, but it's kind of like when I choose a main, I'm choosing it for the expansion. Basically, that's like for the most part, I think, unless I feel like I chose wrong. In which case, I kind of want to switch it up. I kind of only want one tune as my main, and then the rest of them are all shabbily dressed, if you know what I mean. I mean, like my hunter is, I think at like eye level 660, 670 maybe. I mean, I've only done like LFR and maybe a few normal runs or something like that with him, but that's about it, and it never went beyond that. Whereas with my druid, I'm fully 700 geared, and I can do whatever needs to be done pretty much. I still suck playing feral, but that might change after this wonderful buff. No, it won't. It won't change.
No, it won't.
No. By the way, I did raid this week, and I actually played Resto, so that was good. That was fun. it was good to get back in there. It had been a while. But yeah, for me, it's like I usually find my main, gear him up as best I can. Everybody else kind of falls apart throughout the expansion. Sure, I play him a little bit here and there, but as long as I can move around the zones, that's all that matters. So I don't know. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to the Horde side. You said that you appreciated the Horde side, Shark.
I do. I'm a Horde at heart.
I started that way.
Yeah.
And I still miss my orc.
Yeah, I've got a couple Hordes here and there. My girlfriend and I just rolled new Horde tunes on a different server. Because you can't cross the streams, man. You can't have Horde tunes on one server. You got to be on a different server. Right. Hopefully in a different battle group.
Yep. And I actually
I love the Horde.
I actually have a Goblin Hunter over on another server as well, and been leveling him up, and that's been a lot of fun and stuff like that. And now for 6.2.2 for the next patch, Horde racials are actually getting an overhaul as well. Like Blood Elf, Goblin, Orc, Troll, Tauren, all of them getting a buff either as far as the length of for the Tauren War Stomp, they get a 3-second War Stomp instead of 2-second stun, and the timer, the cooldown is reduced to 1.5 minutes instead of 2 minutes. So they're doing stuff like that.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Breaking news: the Blood Elf stun and the Tauren stun are back to 2-second stun.
What?
Yeah, that was just posted on Info Champion before the show.
Did they reduce the CD though?
No, the CD is the same. It's still 1.5 minutes.
So they're reducing. So at least they're doing something with it. They're reducing the CD on it. They're some of the things they're. And again, this is all PTR stuff. This isn't live yet.
Because I saw the stun length and I'm like, another second on the stuns, and in PvP, that's the difference between death. Not being able to do something with a stun there. I thought that was a little OP. But the fact that it's going back down, I think is a good thing. But they were talking about how it's not going to affect PvE content, right? It's something that they were talking. This is mainly meant to be a change for PvP.
Right. Well, and I don't know how much. I'm sure that Tauren are using their War Stomp on ads all the time.
Right.
But it doesn't affect bosses anyway. So. But
remember back to, for example, the heroic Garrosh encounter where we had to stun those the slimes, and we had to stun all three of them at the same time so we could kill them so they wouldn't regen, and so we can get through that phase quicker. There can be clever use of these racials. If we had Taurens in each group that would just be able to stomp and stun them all at the same time to interrupt their cast, we wouldn't have had nearly as many problems as we had with that phase. I don't know. That's just one example, but I think it's really interesting. Anytime they make a change like this, the point that I'm making, anytime they make a change like this, it's going to affect both sides of it. But I think this is something that definitely needed to happen for Horde side, especially with PvP, especially with how strong the human racial is for PvP, having that extra shrink. I mean, it's so strong.
Well, and it's funny that, they're working with 5 out of the 7 possibilities for the Horde.
Yeah, they buffed them all.
And they're like, you know what? You're right. Nobody's really playing Horde. They're all playing Alliance. Finally figured that one out, huh, Blizz?
Got to do something.
Well, and they did that, and I think that this might be one of the ways that they're going to be improving those racial traits moving into Legion as well. Because remember, they're going to have all the PvP unlockable talents once you get into there. And so maybe they're doing something with that. And, they're trying to figure out how it's working into the future. And so that's kind of cool as well. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to these changes for those PvPers out there and seeing if it helps the Horde folk feel viable in PvP instead of just, humans the only way to go.
Yeah.
Which is not cool. When there's only one thing to play, that's not cool. I don't know.
Yeah, and I remember I think I was listening to a cover. I want to say it might have been on the Instance or something like that, where they were talking about just the idea of just having equal racials on every side. It could be called something different or try to keep the lore aspects. And I know we want to have some sort of difference there, because goblins, you're not going to have rocket barrage or rocket jump on a alliance class necessarily, because that's such a goblin trait. But to be able to have something to answer every man, I think would be an interesting way to take things. I don't know, but I'm glad that they're showing some love. I mean, they're obviously trying to do something to make sure that they balance the playing field.
Yes. And as we said, patch 6.2.2 is most likely coming September 1st, although Lore made a post and he essentially, okay, so there's a lot of different things going on, but there was Regarius, who posts all the patch notes, right? He said, okay, this is coming September 1st. That's been confirmed that we're working toward September 1st. So we'll give that date out to our players and let them know that we're thinking about doing this September 1st, because this flying patch has taken a lot longer than we thought it was going to, and has, encompassed a lot more work, because they were working on mercenary mode that combined the two, whatever. So they said, okay, September 1st, that's fine. And then Laura came in and said, please keep in mind that this release date is not set in stone, as we are continuing to iron out bugs for 6.2.2, which totally makes sense. Right, guys? I mean, you're a computer guy. You know how this stuff goes. You say you say the date you're shooting for, and hopefully you hit it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the mercenary mode, that's a lot more complicated than people think. The flying, he talks about it at one point. There's info where he says that some of the areas, while Drano was originally designed to be flying, some of them weren't finished or optimized for flying, so they're having to go back, and they're finding all these weird differences and bugs and things like that. They're just taking a while to fix and figure out, because you fix one thing and something else might break. Same with mercenary mode. That's a lot more complicated than just, you're swapping sides. There's a lot going on there and a lot that has to be tested. So yeah, I mean, you a week before the patch comes out, you think you're good to go, and someone finds a show-stopping bug. You have to fix it. In this case, they can't just release that and have it break everything. That's just not acceptable.
And unfortunately, it's something like this where you see somebody trying to make an additional, put on an addendum onto what's already been said, and just say, hey, we're just making sure that you guys know we're shooting for September 1st. We're pretty confident in this, but it is not set in stone. And then for some reason, people just freaked the F out. I mean, it was crazy. Like the forums, and of course, this is the vocal minority and all this kind of stuff. But I think the vitriol has been getting a little intense as of late, and I can understand definitely having maybe some criticisms, some crabbiness about your particular game for this expansion. But but damn, I mean. This has been tough to watch from the sidelines and go, come on, guys.
Well, and it's something that is a plague on the internet community and the gamer community since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
But at the same, I mean, I absolutely understand people's frustration with Blizzard. Even if it was something, if they could just add the word aiming for September 1st release or something like that, would have made some people feel a little bit better and feel cozier and like, oh, okay, maybe it's not. I don't. It's all a little bit nitpicky, but to come out and be violent, even in some of the comments that are, it's just not. It's not acceptable ever. It's really not.
No.
But unfortunately, has become accepted in this.
Well, and I don't think it should. And I think that if you guys see it out there, if you see somebody being like, especially like personal and violent about game changes, don't take that. Don't accept that ever. I mean, I just find that really difficult. And for those guys that remember the bit that we've done before, there's a number you can call. It's 1-800 calm the F down.
Calm the F down.
So please do that. But I mean, there definitely have been some communication missteps with Blizzard over the last expansion, and this is just kind of one more, and it's small in the scope of things. This one is small in the scope of things, but I think it's just kind of adds to that.
And it was clarified immediately.
Right.
It was something that lore posted as soon as they realized, said, by the way, we did say September 1st, but
and expounded
not
upon
happen.
I mean, he went off and he wrote like this book on the forums, and he explained everything, and he was being very upfront. Not that he's ever held anything back that he didn't have to. But I mean, he like expounded on it, and he told people exactly what game development is like. The problem, Darius, you were saying the problems that they were having with flying and the different bugs that they were finding, and having to clean all that stuff up, and how they happened, and blah 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 blah. But I mean, it's just kind of like, hey guys, stop being D-bags. And one of the sad things to come out of this was somebody was actually fairly personal with Brian Halinka on Twitter, and Halinka was like, hey guys, if this is going to happen, I'm just going to go away.
Yeah. I mean, that's the wrong attitude. The more you push in that negative direction, the further in the shell that Blizzard is going to go, the less information they're going to give you.
I mean, it just makes no sense. We got to make sure that we can have criticisms. We can say things on Twitter to these devs, but, let's just make sure that we keep it above the belt here, guys and gals out there. Mm-hmm. I know that there's some rage, as always, on the internet. Yeah. And I'm sure that it's just the vocal minority, and I'm sure that it's not necessarily people that listen to this show, but if you listen to this show and you are one of those people, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, and
just stop it.
And the problem is, in this day and age, you never know when someone's just being a jerk. And look at what happened with the Pokemon thing recently, with the guys that were making threats of violence and ended up actually acting on it. Thank God that they were stopped before anything happened. But anytime especially when it crosses a line of violence and bullying or threats or anything like that, I mean, it can't be accepted. And as a community, we have got to come together and do something about it as a society, not just a community. This isn't just an internet thing. This is something that affects all of us, because we do live in an internet society now. Everyone my mamaw uses the internet.
Your mamaw?
Mamaw uses the internet.
Mamaw?
She makes biscuits and gravy with grits for breakfast and uses the internet.
She's probably one of the people making one of these angry posts.
Right.
She might be. Right. Who knows?
Right.
Maybe. But I mean, this is where we are. We have to do everything we can to protect this amazing tool that we have, because people are just using it to get away with crime. Right. And harassment and violence and threats, those are crimes.
Right.
And we got to figure out a way to stop that. It's I don't know, pet peeve of mine.
Yep.
My little personal project or whatever. But
speaking of pet peeves, I think Darius' cat went off in the background and attacked the screen or something.
Yeah. Destroyed a box. She was very mad at that box.
And I don't mean to make light of the situation at all, because it's actually quite serious. But I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where, I mean, hey guys, let's just take a step back, breathe before you post. And maybe like if you're gonna do something like that, maybe read it before you actually hit send.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't do that.
It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad.
Sure,
it's okay to demand answers from groups of people, from the devs. Absolutely, but try to don't just. There's a line that we shouldn't cross.
Yep.
Yep. Anyway, soapbox over.
There we go. And with that, I think we can safely move into the Battlenet news. Hey, it's the Battlenet news, everybody. Now, we actually have a lot of news from the other games. We're going to go over these kind of briefly and try to do them a little bit of justice anyway. And first up, let's take a look at Hearthstone. Hearthstone, the grand tournament began this week. The patch was available as of Monday, the 24th. And all of those packs that they had sold, remember they had that special deal where you could get 50 packs for $50. All of those were able to be opened. and a lot of people hit the live streams and open these things, and people were watching in droves. It was amazing. Now, Shark, did you have any packs available to you for the grand tournament?
Did. I scrounged away $20 for the 15-pack deal because I don't have the kind of money to buy. I really wanted that card back to be able to buy the 50 at once, but I couldn't get that together with the cons that are happening coming up. I had to save a lot of money. Yeah, I did open some packs, did not get any legendaries, but I have enough dust to craft one.
Nice.
And I don't know which one I'm going to craft yet. I'm thinking about the one that turns your hero power into a stronger hero power and trying to put together some sort of inspired deck.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm going to wait and see what the meta has for me and before I craft it.
It was pretty interesting. I opened up a crap ton of these decks, and I ended up getting a few legendaries out of the deal, which was really great.
What'd you get?
I don't even remember what they were.
Batty.
I know. I'm so horrible. But I'm like, I want the cards. I definitely want the cards because I'm going to be playing these things, and I play Hearthstone on a regular basis, and so I want to make sure to build decks. And so you have to, you have to save up your gold or spend cash on these things and do it. And I'm so glad that they have that gold option too, because as soon as they announced the grand tournament, I just kept on saving my gold. Save my gold. I think I got probably, gosh, how many packs did I get out of that? Like 30, I think. So I was pretty well set. And then I spent some cash on it as well.
Yeah. If you do your dailies every day, it's surprising how much gold you can rack up. And especially if every now and again you spend a little bit of gold on Arena, if you're good at Arena, that's a great way to raise some gold.
Yeah. Yep. But it was pretty cool seeing all the different cards and I'd like flip over all the normal ones, the ones that don't glow. And then I'd like hover over the glowing one and go, okay, what's it gonna be?
Argent Squire.
What's it gonna? Yeah. It's just gonna be some low
2/1 with taunt. 2/1 with taunt.
Yeah.
They're like, we need a card worse than the Goldshire Footman. Here we go. 2/1 with taunt. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. This won't last at all. So that's nice. But it's pretty cool, and I, if you are interested in the new expansion, go check it out because the inspired, mechanic is pretty neat. I kind of dig that, and the joust mechanic is interesting. I'm not sure if it really does much for everybody, but it's cool. It's all right. So
I love it.
So Shark, you play some heroes.
I do.
And Darius, you play some heroes.
Yeah, I do. I played some heroes with Shark last night or the night before.
I carried him through a match or two.
I think I carried you.
I think there was some carrying going on. Were you playing Kerrigan?
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan. That's right.
Wow.
Darius, what do you normally play? What sort of heroes do you normally play? We don't really talk about heroes with you.
I've been playing a lot of Karazim, the new monk.
The monk.
Yeah. I really like him. He's a lot of fun. He's a decent healer, and I don't think people have figured out that he can output a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fun to just kind of be hanging out, healing, and then the ult comes off cooldown, and you just watch people melt.
Yeah.
People just kind of like, what just happened?
I know. I also have been playing a lot of the monk, and he's fantastic, and I think that the build that I go with, and I was talking to Shark, I was talking to you a little bit about this before the show, is I use the for the trait, I go with the healing trait, right? Just for sustainability, to make sure that you're spreading heals out to the crowd on basic attacks and stuff like that. Right. And then for pretty much everything else up until like the level 16, level 20 talents, I pick DPS talents. And just being able to stay up a little bit longer with that healing talent going off every once in a while is just really amazing. And this guy can melt face like nobody's business. So it's pretty cool. I think as a healer, he's not awesome, but I think as either a hybrid or as a straight up DPS, he could be really good. So, were you playing straight up DPS?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing quite a bit of healing with him. Each fight I'm finishing between 80 and 100k in healing.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Insane. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm also doing quite a bit of hero damage, and he's really good for just if you're just soaking lanes or whatever, you just keep pounding on the
right.
On the creep that are coming in, and you're healing yourself and whoever's around you, without having to waste mana and whatnot. I really like him. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's fun, and he's good at getting out of sticky situations too.
Yeah, and getting into them as well.
Yeah.
Now, Shark, have you been playing the monk at all, or?
I haven't purchased the monk yet. I hide away from support. I'm not very good at it. I play a mean Tassadar, but he's not even support.
You're kind of more tanky, more.
I enjoy almost everything other than on the team. I do fill the warrior role. I play a lot of Joho. She's really strong right now, and I was talking to you earlier. Marden is a great hero. Just stuns, man, stuns all day. I love that, being able to set your team up to make some really great plays by stunning someone else out is really, really fun. But yeah, I haven't played much, but I have played with him on my team and against him a lot, and he can be incredibly dangerous. Especially if you, like I said, I think you build him the right way with the healing trait, but then making everything about damage. Seven-sided strike is great. His palm ult is really interesting, but if you just avoid damaging the person the palm is on,
right,
till the palm goes away, and then they basically fall over, it's it's nothing like it's almost like the Rhaegar ult, where it's like and now you're back at full health. But the thing is, the Rhaegar ult, you're trying to kill him before it goes off. But if it goes off, you're good. The thing is, when this goes off, you can just kind of step back and
right.
It's I think the seven-sided strike is a lot better,
and the graphic for that palm is pretty prominent, so you can definitely see who it is. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I think they're going to have to rework some of that as they figure out how exactly people are playing him. So
maybe, yeah, if they want people to take that all, it's just not I don't think he's a solo healer. I think he'd be great with a Tyrande or a Tassadar to kind of help support the heals. The three, especially Tyrande and Tassadar, both of them can do incredible things with their utility and their DPS. Those three healers are kind of, in my opinion, more of a utility. But the problem, the monk puts out so much healing in that small area around him.
Yeah,
he can be really, really strong.
Or just laning with an assassin is really good too. I mean, if you can lane, you can solo lane for sure, but laning with an assassin, especially for a 2-on-2 situation or something like that, that works out really, really well, because that monk can just pound face.
We've been playing with an Illidan Abathur monk comp, that idea, and it's been really strong so far, especially in the laning phase. Having the Abathur on Illidan's head, and he's doing incredible amounts of damage while the monk is making sure he doesn't take any damage. It's really fun, really cool.
It is. I hear that you have you name all of your comps after pop singers on Adult
That's
Swim
true.
comps.
That happened. We did a butcher comp, and he has that charge where he comes running in, fresh meat. And Retro decided that he wanted to play. He called it the Wrecking Ball comp because it felt like a wrecking ball, and then somehow he decided he started playing Miley. He queued up Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball.
Right.
And so as soon as you'd hear fresh meat, I came like a wrecking ball, and we'd be playing it over Skype, and all of a sudden you just hear people double kill, triple kill, and
Well, and it was with Tyrande too, and so you were coming in Shadowstalk.
Yeah, if anybody watches the tournament, it was the second game was our wrecking ball.
It was so freaky. It was scary.
It's
how
Tyrande,
well that worked.
Tyrande, Marden, and Butcher were the big three that needed to happen to make that comp work. Because Tyrande would Shadowstalk, Butcher would run in, get the initial stun on somebody, Marden would come in and get the hammer stun, and then Tyrande would come in, if everyone wasn't dead already, would get that Lunar Flare stun to make sure that nobody... I mean, it was We
It
would
was-
get
it was
one
awesome.
or two kills immediately every time. Once we got the shadow stock, it's
It was
really hard to.
It was super awesome. That's all I know. And I know we've been talking a lot about heroes this show. I apologize for those guys that really love WoW, but we've also talked about WoW. So, but let's move on to Diablo because there's something cool that happened this week as well. So, patch 2.3 is now live. And,
Diablo.
And, Diablo.
That's my Deckard Cain.
So we have a new area with the ruins of Secheron. We have Kanai's Cube, which is a new artisan with recipes and includes things like reforging because it didn't work in WoW, which I find hilarious. I don't know, for some reason. Just seeing the word reforging brings back good
I
memories.
miss reforging.
I know a lot of people do.
I do too.
A lot of people do.
I
I'm
miss
washing
it.
my hands of it. I've complained
It
about
wasn't-
that too much.
It wasn't interesting gameplay, but people miss it nonetheless. Now that it's
I
not
thought
there.
it was interesting. Numbers and stuff.
I thought it was interesting going to ask Mr. Robot and having him change my stuff for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I just downloaded Reforged Lite.
Yep. Either way.
Same. Yeah, but anyway.
And we have a new season journey. That's what they call it. Which is kind of individual player progress. It's divided into chapters, and each chapter has goals and achievements that goes along with it. It's a little bit different for season play if you guys are into that. And then if you weren't tormented enough by levels 1 through 6, now you get
have more.
7. Now you get 7 through 10. Or
They needed them though.
really?
I think so because I played seasons for a while. Me and Scuzz, one of the other guys that used to raid with us on Asparagus Initiative, and Yeska and those guys they're on CTM now too. But we would get together, and especially once you get all of the stuff to make your build just crazy, and you can start doing greater rifts at 50. I think the Torment 7 was around greater rift 20 or something, and then the greater rifts keep getting stronger, but the torment levels you wouldn't go any. So if you wanted to play just regular rifts, you only had this one. You could farm it, but there was only this one level. To bring it out and to make 3 more difficult levels is something that I think the game really needed, especially once you get that build just perfect and you've got all of the stuff that you need to make this thing just complete. I mean, I was going through Torment 7 on my wizard and blowing everything up immediately without bosses even would be dead in 3 seconds. I think it's really, really cool to have some T7 will be interesting, or T8, 9, 10.
I have never played on torment mode. I've never felt the need to.
No.
Wow.
Never felt the
That's
need
the
to.
game, man. That's like people talk about WoW, like I never got to level 100, I never got to max. That's the game. You're not playing any end game, man.
I am
The
not
leveling
because
is nothing.
Because guess what? I'm playing
All the other
Hearthstone.
games.
I'm playing Heroes of the Storm. I'm playing Rocket League. I'm playing blah blah blah. I'm playing Diablo, but I'm playing whatever I want to play because that's not really my game.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
what you got to do, you got to get a buddy because it's so
Right.
easy to level up to
Right.
max. Get a buddy and let them start helping you farm some gear, and then you can start doing torment levels on your own. And
You just gotta wait till Yeska and Scuzz from Convert to Mythic get to max level, and then they will just carry you through. That's what
Awesome.
they do to me every time.
me
Let's
too.
do it for you too.
We're
Don't
right
worry
there
about
for
it.
both of us.
Yeah, right on. Sounds good. All right, we should probably move on to a question or two, and then we'll get out of here. I think next show, I want to encourage you guys to send in your questions because I want to see a bunch of questions for next show. We have some, and we're probably only going to get to one today, but we'll do this thing. Get them in for next show, and we'll really see what's going on with you guys. All right, here we go with some questions.
We've got mail.
We do, and if you have anything about us for rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line, 612-787-RAID. And the first one, and the only one that I'm going to do for this one is this. Here we go. From Wrath of Beans,
Good name.
Blood DK on Cenarian Circle. He says, "Hey, Pat and gang, my question is a bit speculative. Last week you were talking about flying in Drainer, or Draw
Drainer.
as it says here, and the percentages of people that were ready for flying when 6.2.2 hits. My question is, if the amount of people that unlocks flying is really low, will they make flying unlockable with gold? I never bothered with the treasures, as I was all about the raid loot." So now, do you think that in future expansions, we might see a gold unlock instead of a, hey, hop around and enjoy these jumping puzzles? Shark, what do you have to say about this one?
The possibilities are endless. I can never, it's always hard for anyone to try. What do you think Blizzard's going to do? I don't know. Blizzard has done so many incredible stuff that I never could possibly imagine them doing, and hasn't done a lot of stuff that I really, really want them to do. Where's my dance studio? But anyway, I don't know. I think it's
So
definitely
angry.
a viable. I know, right? I think it's something that could happen. I don't know if it would, though. Making something unlockable with gold. I mean, that's the way that they've done flying before in the past. You have to get your flight permission. I remember when they did Cataclysm, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
To unlock flying in Azeroth, you had to buy your flying license or whatever. And they could make it really, really high. I don't think that's what Blizzard would do, though. It makes more sense to me, as they've been saying over and over in their interviews. We don't want people to be flying before they've seen all the content, right? It's about getting through the content. It's about going through the dailies. It's about experiencing that world without just flying over things and dropping here, and there. Right. So I think that the idea of what they're going to be doing with unlocking the flying is the way to go. Now, I have my own personal feelings about where rep grinds and things like that fit into it, because I don't see how that is experiencing the world. But I do like the idea you finish your different quests here and there, and then you're able to unlock fly. I just don't see them going back to a gold model.
Well, and especially, Darius, like, you are topped out already. I mean, you've been topped out this expansion. I don't know where you sit right now.
On top.
Probably topped up. So, I mean, I know a lot of people made a lot of gold this expansion, especially off of garrisons. Can you see that coming in at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they would make this gold. They seem to be really happy with the whole, you need to experience the content before you get flying. Flying devalues a lot of it. Yeah, it makes it easier, but there's something to be said for having to run to places or run on a mount or whatever. And I also, from the people that I've talked to, and this is anecdotal, but the people I've talked to that have gotten the achievement, they enjoy these kind of things and they think this is the right way to do it. I haven't heard anyone say that, oh, this is awful and, you know, they should never do it like this. They should just let us buy it for gold. Because the people like you, Zug, that don't enjoy the jumping puzzles also don't see the value in the flying. They don't need it right now. They don't think they ever need it, which is totally fine. You might not ever need it. You know, the flight paths are really good. It doesn't take that long to get anywhere. So I think this is a really good compromise for all of this.
I do too. And my answer is, will this be ever available for gold again? No. Moving on.
Definitive.
You guys have said it, so I don't have to.
We all agree. The trifecta has spoken.
That's right. Case closed. And away we go with some... Oh, nope, that's wrong music. There we go.
What's happening?
We're gonna just jump to the end here.
We're just gonna skip everything.
We're gonna hit up 5-star reviews. So Darius, who do we have to thank for 5-star reviews from iTunes?
This week we have the Almighty Todd. I think that's God's brother.
Todd Almighty. Yep.
Yes. We have Pangerban.
Okay.
Probably not saying that right. And 68 Gia,
something like that.
I think they might have just bashed their head on their keyboard on that one.
Right.
So, sorry.
Any shout outs this week? I know I have one shout out for you, Shark. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was fun, actually.
It was a lot of fun.
It was surprisingly fun. I thought you were going to be totally lame, and Darius said, no, let's have Shark on the show.
I know, I fought for you
at all.
so
Did you
much.
really? Don't believe it.
I do love you, Shark. It's always great to talk to you, bud, and you know, we should probably have you back on again. That was fun.
I'll be here whenever you want. I got stuff to do that day.
Whatever it is.
Any other shout outs? I've got some more if you guys don't.
I've got some, sure, but we'll go in order.
Okay. Well,
I really want to give a shout out to Randy, the best player on Adults with Jobs.
yes.
Yeah,
Randy
absolutely.
is actually. You know what, Randy? You know why Randy is the best player for Adults with Jobs is that he went totally free on that game. He went.
Yeah.
He hasn't paid for a tune yet.
Yeah,
Championship
doesn't pay
team,
for
he was
anything.
absolutely free to pay. He's given zero money to Blizzard for his Heroes account.
Well, don't tell him I said it. That's because his wife controls his bank account.
That may be true. That may be true.
Man, she's watching
Ah.
this.
I know she's listening.
Oh yeah, she definitely is. I also want to say, hey, Eric D, happy 50th birthday, man. That's amazing. That's a great birthday. Celebrate to the extent that you can at 50. I don't know what that is.
You should know. You passed it 10 years ago.
Yes, 20 years ago. And a big shout out to Jules, Arcane, Revan Geek, Alessander, Mick Montgomery, and others this week for finally getting me to level 30 in Heroes of the Storm. So thank you very much for that. And I don't know. Maybe that's it for me. Shark, do you have
Okay,
anything?
quick shout outs. Yeah, I want to shout out thanks to everybody at the Frog Pants Network and A-Move TV, Kyle Ferguson, Garrett Weinzerl, Scott Johnson for casting the our team during the tournament.
It's good
and for just
casting.
having such a fun. It was great casting, and make sure that you check out their YouTube channel, A-Move, YouTube/A-Move TV. They have all the VODs on there, and they're really, really great, and you can see some fun casual play, and it's a lot of fun. And then I also want to thank or just let everybody know I'm going to be at PAX this weekend. And if you want to hang out with me, you can.
I'm also busy that day.
tweet me. Yeah, he's
So
he'll be hiding in the nerd closet anyway. But,
So yeah, you're gonna be at PAX.
I'll be at PAX Prime in Seattle. Yep.
Darius is gonna be at PAX. I'm gonna be in Portland, which is close. It's close enough. I'll be able to feel the nerd vibe from Portland.
It's just not close.
Oh,
Proximity, maybe, but
yeah.
Crazy old gamer wants to know if
I'll
I'll
be-
be drunk at PAX. Probably.
Have you met Shark before?
But yeah, if you want to hang out, tweet me Sharku_CTR. It'll be a lot of fun.
If you want to hang out with me, tweet Shark.
Right. Right,
because
there we
Darius
go.
is
All right.
hanging out because I'm his secret best friend.
All right, I'm gonna end the show. I'm gonna bail out of that, and I'm gonna just play this. Let's go. All right, and of course we
Get
want to
outta here.
thank you guys out there. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the questions. We want more questions for next show. I want to see what you think of 6.2.2 and all sorts of other stuff. So please feel free to give us your questions. Join the conversation anytime, and you can do that real easy. All you need to do is email converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter @converttораid or individually. Isn't that right, Darius?
You can follow Pat Crane @Pat Crane with a K, Darius @BoardMine, and Sharku, you have to tweet his grandmother.
Yes, his
Name
Meemaw.
At Meemaw,
His Meemaw.
at AOL. Sharku_CTR.
That's the one. And you do some live streaming as well for
Yep,
different
Twitch.
games.
Twitch TV/Sharku_CTR.
They made it easy. All right, awesome. And make sure to join the Bazooba Guaba Nation, folks, by heading over to Convert to Raid, where we have our show downloads, our forums, our videos, our audios, tons of links for raiders and all of our guild stuff, and a lot more. It's all over at converttoraid.com. And the Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends on the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. And that's going to be it for the show. Shark, once again, thank you for coming on. You made it a lot of fun, bud. And
Thanks, man.
we hope to have
Had a
you.
blast.
Well, I hope to have you on in the future. Darius probably does not,
I
because that's
got
just the
stuff
way
to
he
do.
rolls. I don't know. But for you guys, we'll see you actually in 2 weeks, because we're going to be away, out of town, all this other kind of stuff, coming back from PAX, coming back from Portland. So we're actually going to see you in 2 weeks' time, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central. And for all the guys at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.